I remember the first YouTube fitness coach I ever followed, Elliot Hulse. It was 2012 or 13, and I was starting to take fitness seriously. I'd been playing around with some bodybuilding.com programs, which used to be free, I might add. I tried 5 by 5 and of course, eventually found who many consider to be the godfather of modern bodybuilding and aesthetics, Zyzz. Rest in peace. I wanted to be stronger.
I'm stronger.
Smarter.
I'm smarter.
Better.
I am better.
I needed more information. Someone had to have the answers. Someone was going to cut through all the charlatans, cut through the bullshit, and show me the truth. So I found another creator and another creator and another creator, all with a different take or a slight tweak on something that I felt I already knew. And as I came to know more, I realized how little I actually knew. I realized that while everybody might have some information, we're all different. What works for some people isn't going to work for everybody. And that scared me, but it also excited me, you know? I started taking courses. I became a perfectionist. If my knee moved a little bit when I squatted, I'd prime, I'd mobilize it. Wanted to make sure that I was doing it right. Wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to get hurt. If my gut ached a little, eliminate these foods till I have an answer. I seemed to know more than pretty much all of my friends and sort of became the go-to person in my group, but I still felt like a fraud. I still felt like I knew nothing. But at least I had my YouTube gurus. All of these people that I followed had something unique to offer. And because of that, they all became noteworthy on message boards, their websites, YouTube. Man, sometimes you would see a crossover between two YouTubers you really liked, and that was just the biggest thing ever because this is before podcasts and Zoom and FaceTime all became a huge thing. These are far from the only names of that time period, but a few that really mattered to me were athleanx, Scooby, the Hodge twins, kind of controversial now, Scott Herman, Paul Check, and of course Elliot Hulse, who is also pretty controversial, and pretty much any celebrity fitness guy that they would throw on bodybuilding.com. The big one in that group that really got a lot of longevity from me and that I still follow today is Lane Norton. All these people had this blue ocean advantage, right? Where there was so little information out there and such a hunger for it that they were just stacking views and followers like nothing. Every night, I'd sit in bed, watch a video. I'd jot a little note down, something about it that I learned, and I'd send it to a friend, usually Zach. I'd go to bed excited knowing that I'm going to try something new out. Fitness content has gotten to a point where it is nearly impossible to tell what is good. You never know if somebody is just speaking about something because they've got an advertiser sitting behind them talking about it. So if you're tired of being spoon-fed bullshit and want to know the ins and outs of how to vet the quality of the content that you see, that is what we're going to be covering today. Episode 53, baby. Thank you to everybody on Spotify who gave me a 5-star review. I won the bet that I made. I love you all so much. There is no winner for last week's Amazon gift card giveaway because no one put an answer down. So this is easy money, guys. Make sure you listen for this week's giveaway. There's pretty high odds you're going to be the person who wins it. So with all that said, guys, my name is Andrew with Pride. Let's get into it. The early 2010s really were a renaissance for fitness because people were trying to stand out as platforms got bigger and bigger. People would make outlandish claims like, oh, you can build serious muscle just by squeezing your biceps really hard. People were always coming out with these amazing new muscle building supplements. And of course, it's all just sponsorships. Hey, you know, here's the difference between whey and hydro whey. And while a lot of it got laughed off, a lot of it had merit. People talk shit about bro science, but the reality is bro science is people using themselves as a test subject. Ben Greenfield is a great example of this, but granted, he's a little bit more of a scientist, but bro science was the original way to figure out what worked and what didn't. You were checking all these things out with your friends, right? If the things that you were saying had merit, you would pretty quickly rise to the top. Nobody really understood social media or viral marketing yet. They just made content and hoped that it was well received, hoped that it was good enough to get shared. Algorithms were still in their infancy. I mean, the biggest YouTube hack out there was basically just, hey, post every single day, which is still fairly true. Nobody purported perfection or expertise because they would get shredded by the community as quickly as they might be praised. I look back on these days very fondly because before YouTube, the only way that you could get good health and fitness information, good, I'll say that in air quotes, was magazines or daytime television. And don't get me wrong, these things did have a barrier to entry, but that barrier was really only as much as they were charging to put someone on. If you had money, if you could market well, you could get on these shows, you could get on these magazines, and you could sell whatever you had. Get big on the show, rinse, repeat. Now, of course, we're living in the inverse. There's no barrier. With the ease of posting through TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, even YouTube and podcasts, the irony is not lost in me saying this. Your information doesn't always need to be correct. It doesn't need to be good or meaningful or well thought out. I mean, look at all of these. I'm not even going to be able to get all of them, but I mean, the #1 fitness tracker, the worst back workout, you need supplements, the worst pre-workout. And don't get me wrong, I've done a few of these things, but it goes on and on and on. And what gets even crazier with this kind of content, the content that speaks in absolutes, is that these people will contradict themselves just a few videos later. The consistency is irrelevant now. The quality of the information doesn't matter. In fact, I'd say the shorter and the more extravagant or inflammatory the information is, the better, the more shareability it has, right? You just need to have the right charismatic, influential person with a decent face, decent physique, and you can spread pretty much whatever kind of information you want en masse just by mentioning it. For some reason, there's just this implicit trust in creators that I don't understand. That's not to say that these problems didn't exist at one point in time. I mean, God, remember back in 2012, Coney 2012? Remember when Oprah went on TV and said MDMA puts holes in your brain? Remember when Dr. Oz said green coffee bean extract could make you lose weight with no diet and no exercise? I mean, Dr. Oz and all these miracle supplements are probably an episode all on their own, but all of those things kind of just made their mark and then went unchallenged, despite being completely false. And then they just disappeared or became such a, well, everybody knows that kind of piece of information in the zeitgeist that it just became common sense and people stopped discussing it. For some reason, fitness resisted this trend just slightly longer than everybody else. And I don't know why that is, but I think it's because of the nature of fitness. What it truly is, down at its core, is people wanting to improve themselves and wanting to help others. Health and fitness is the gold rush that you want to tell everyone about. Once you start feeling the benefits, once you start feeling better, looking better, I mean, God, why wouldn't you tell everybody? Why wouldn't you want to help everybody? I mean, go up to the biggest, buffest person at the gym, ask them for advice, and I will nearly guarantee they will not only help you out, they might interrupt their own workout because they're going to be so excited that somebody else is taking interest in the thing that they love. Maybe it resisted this trend for a slightly less altruistic reason. Maybe it's because fitness professionals didn't know how to monetize online back then, with the exception of Lane Norton. I love you, Lane. One thing is for sure, though. This content at the time existed to teach. It was there to help people. And it wasn't churned out at such a rate that you barely remembered what you watched yesterday. It is a decade later, and I still remember full Elliot Hulse Strength Camp YouTube videos in detail. Maybe it was the imprint on my brand new gym dude mind or something like that, or maybe it was the novelty, but either way, I believe those times have passed. The new function of content is this: to be consumed or to create controversy to get comments. Another YouTuber, Ali Sunvia, says it really good here.
These things give us something to talk about and to feel opinionated on, but most of the information we receive is solely for consumption. Rarely does it prompt action. everything became everyone's business. For the first time, we were sent information which answered no question we had asked, and which, in any case, did not permit the right of reply. Intelligence becomes equated with knowing lots of things rather than knowing about things. Trivia games and crossword puzzles actually were invented because of this explosion of irrelevant information. With all the information people were getting that was useless or unrelated to our own lives, we were like, well, let's invent a situation where this information can become useful.
Basically, we're at a point now where information precedes its utility, and then we manufacture a solution out of that. I mean, think about it. How many fitness videos are out there where they mention an issue that you've never heard of, only to, at the very end of this, give you their secret sauce, their secret solution, their whatever. Do these stretches, these exercises, buy this course. But before you had seen that video, you had never considered those problems, or at best, you start wondering, is this a problem that I have? Do I need to fix this? Is this the cause of all my ailments? But oftentimes it's just an example of pattern recognition, a brilliant one still, planted with really, really smooth words, great editing, not too unlike some of these examples maybe. You buy a Honda Accord. Suddenly you see them everywhere. You learn fun, new information about the gym. You learn about pelvic tilts, and suddenly you see them everywhere. You hear about some magical pill that is going to get rid of the rotting meat in your gut, and suddenly you notice, oh my God, I have a stomach ache. Oh my God. What if this is the solution? What if this is the solution to the problem that you didn't realize you had until 5 minutes ago? At the end of this, I'll do a whole breakdown of those kinds of ads, by the way. Sometimes these things do bring awareness to an issue, but more often than not, they're just content to consume or convert you into a customer. And converting you into a customer, getting you to purchase something, is not inherently bad. I do it in my videos. I'm probably going to do it in this one too. But when you look at how the pharmaceutical industry has created pills just to concoct a new disorder that it might be able to treat, you start to see the dark shadow that looms behind this kind of content. You start to see how seamlessly the fitness industry has embraced it. Most of this stuff is just information completely detached from context. I'm going to give you a Mad Lib. Okay, I want you to fill this in. How to verb number noun in number days with item. Okay? How to lose 5 pounds in 7 days with Oxy Elite. How to gain 10 pounds in 30 days with HydroWay. You can fill that almost any way you want with any supplement, any product, and chances are there is a study that can validate it. And also, if you came up with one that's kind of funny for that, please put that in the YouTube comments. I'll make that this week's Amazon gift card, whoever gets the most likes for it. We see that glorious headline. We hear that amazing 3-second clip intro that really hooks you in. And we just assume, oh my God, this study must be impeccable. The interest and opinions of the researchers, surely it is completely unbiased. The sample size, oh, it must be tens of thousands of people over decades and decades. The conclusion is surely ironclad, right? That is, until you learn that the study had 14 people over 2 days. It was all self-reported, and of course, the researchers were paid by someone with a vested interest in the outcome. That's assuming that we even decide to look into this study. Even I was guilty of this, and sometimes I still am. Sometimes we see that title, and it's the information that we want to be true. We want it to be accurate, so we don't dig into it quite the same way if it's something that we don't believe in, or if it's something that we know is bullshit. I mean, we see this every few years with the election cycle, right? I mean, here's the thing. I think Orson Scott Card said it best. We question all of our beliefs, except the ones we really believe in and the ones that we never think to question. The most terrifying thing about all these studies is that the companies making them know that they are dangerous. It is possible the study the public sees wasn't even the first attempt at these things, and that they only released the study that did get the conclusion they wanted. And the results of the failed study, I'm putting that in air quotes because I want to be clear, there's no such thing as a failed study, but that study that didn't get the outcome they wanted, that's gone. That got destroyed. Lane Norton has a great story about him studying amino acids for his PhD. He was running a couple studies, trying to attain some conclusions here, and he kept tweaking and tweaking the study. And his professor one day comes up to him and says, "Hey, Lane, have you considered the possibility that maybe the study isn't the issue. Maybe it's just not the outcome you expected and that you need to accept that. And that's how Lane now runs a lot of his stuff. But I digress. You heard me right. Studies are not required to be published when they conclude. They can redo it as many times as they need and tweak the variables until they get the outcome that they need. Then they burn the previous attempts, making no one the wiser. It's called data dredging or data mining. Imagine a company creates a piece of exercise equipment and wants to show how effective it is at burning calories. So they run this study, they analyze the data, and they find the calorie burn is pretty modest, pretty comparable to other pieces of equipment. And it doesn't stand out the way that they hoped that it would. However, there are a few people, a few subgroups of a specific age, gender, ethnic group, and they notice these people show some promise. So they decide, hey, we're going to run this study one more time. But we're going to do this iteration with just this smaller subgroup, okay? Because they already know what the outcome is going to be with these ones. So they run the study, and then when they release it, oh my gosh, this is just a landmark study. Wow, blah, 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 blah. Look how amazing this is. And they use that to propel their new piece of equipment into the mainstream. Maybe it's not too big of a deal. I mean, if it's just calories after all, yeah, it's a lie, but hey, at least no one's dying. But what about ephedra, omitting the cardiac concerns, or oxyelite and liver toxicity? And trust me, I hear what you're saying. This is kind of going off the rails. Andrew, what the fuck does this have to do with the overwhelming amount of fitness information out there? I bring it up because the fitness industry is now the 24-hour news cycle. Look, I remember a few supplements getting banned when I was younger. It was big news. It mattered. I can't name a single one that has gotten that same treatment in recent years. Can you? What if it's someone out there, your favorite creator, and they're shilling a new supplement? I mean, have you guys seen the video where CoffeeZilla gets a guy to tweet about his own crimes because he didn't read any of the contract where it explicitly said that they were going to trick him into outing every con he's done? Clearly, people are not reading contracts. And not everybody does full breakdowns of their supplement like Derek from More Plates, More Dates. Do you really think your favorite influencer has the ability to understand and challenge the new product that they're shilling? This kind of information is especially damaging because, as I said in the last episode, it gives people a feeling that they're informed. They speak about it in this very convicted way. They're just so confident. They feel no need to challenge their new factoid. And why would they? It's science.
Yes, science!
It's not just the people spreading it through the content, though. It's the professionals. It's the people running these studies to intentionally mislead. And if you think I'm being dramatic about this or exaggerating it in any way, there is an entire book about this called Weaponized Lies. Like, I'm going to bring something up real quick, just really, really quick. Okay, ready? Okay, so that is a graph about gun deaths in Florida. Okay, just give you a quick glance. First look, it seems like Florida made the stand your ground law and gun deaths decreased, right? No, look at it again. It's inverted. So when the data is inconvenient, they just present it in a way to fool us. What the fuck? Also, I have to say this real quick. I'm not anti-gun. I own one. Anyway, what about the last major fitness controversy or cancellation? Sure, we have stuff like the Liver King, where he literally admitted it, so of course people were talking about it. But it seems like Joey Swole has a different person who's being a goon at the gym every other day who ends up just getting completely dragged to the point where they're just deleting their accounts or removing all the comments or whatever, you know? And maybe rightly so. Don't get me wrong. Some people are being ridiculous, but God forbid it turns out any of these people are innocent or that it was just a bad out of context clip. Why? Why are people so quick to do this kind of stuff? I mean, it's like there's just this rush for novelty, a rush to be the one who breaks the story like a little content goblin. Creators will find something interesting, find something controversial, and in a rush to be the first to post about it, to get that click, to get that view, they don't dig any deeper. They don't do any research. They press record, they start talking, and that's it. I mean, if you got any of these, really short form content influencers out there on a long form video on a podcast and you ask them for more information about the topics they're producing content on, I would imagine that it would sound something like this clip.
Teaching children, not teaching them critical race theory.
And what is critical race theory?
Well, I'm not going to get into the specifics of it because I don't understand it that much.
Also want to clarify, I like Joey Swoll. I think he actually does a really good job waiting and being patient and making sure the information is valid. Anyway, information is a commodity now. Information is entertainment. Information is noise to fill the silence when we are at home by ourselves, wrestling with the fact that we just wasted another 3 hours on TikTok doom scrolling. Look at your screen time right now and tell me, did you learn something productive from all those apps today? Or are you just busying your mind? Are you fooling yourself with the idea of, I'm learning something, but you don't remember anything? Besides this podcast, of course. I mean, you're definitely learning something here. Go to the gym, meal prep, subscribe. These same models, these same tactics, they exist now, but in such volume and frequency that I can't help but ask, how do you add value and nuance in a 15-second world? It seems to be an insurmountable task, but I think I figured it out. 1, you need to make content so short that somebody will listen to the entire thing. 2, you need to have an interesting enough hook that they are fully engaged past that first 3 seconds. 3, it needs to be consistently engaging so that hopefully they retain enough information about it to have interest so that they like or share or subscribe, which you should be doing on this video. And 4, here's the hardest part. It needs to have a strong enough call to action or message so that the person actually does something with it. But does it really matter when all people need now are the views? Not all calls to action are the same in the fitness world. Sure, buying, a couple $100 worth of supplements isn't hard, but it's those actions that you take in parallel that actually get you some outcome. That's where the real value is, right? Buying a $29 a month membership to a gym or a $400 a month coaching plan, it's not hard. It is doing it where the challenge is. And theoretically, the goal of these videos is to move someone through a funnel so that they actually take action that helps them. And the dark, really dark reality is that there are charlatans and snake oil salesmen everywhere, but more in these 3 industries than any other: health, wealth, and love. And the fitness industry has found a way to combine all 3 of them. Content, information, whatever you call it. It is entertaining first and accurate second. This is one of my gripes with marketing as a whole. A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting its shoes on. It's a quote from Mark Twain, supposedly. So many quotes get attributed to him. When there's a study out there, it gets none of the same publicity if it gets retracted. I mentioned the Oprah saying MDMA causes holes in your brain thing at the beginning of this, right? Because that was something I believed for 22 years. What she showed was an image of a woman's brain that looked like Swiss cheese. Here it is on the screen. And the doctor said that that was from the drugs. Not an unbelievable claim to make, I might add. What it was really showing, however, was variations in blood flow. Did they know that? Did they intentionally mislead? Oprah was meant to do a follow-up episode on the benefits of MDMA, but she opted to cancel when the show started receiving a little bit of pushback. I'll link a conversation above with Rick Doblin where he discusses this. This is a person who is on a global stage opting to not correct their mistakes. What hope do we have for our favorite YouTubers? There's a phrase I really love: bullshit speech acts, coined by Harry Frankfurt. It's used to explain when a speaker knows they aren't telling the truth, but do it anyway. Anytime you see these sponsored video ads, don't you wonder just for a second if the speaker has actually used the item they're now promoting? Which is why this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow. It's not a stretch to think some would. Most influencers have a price that you can pay to promote pretty much anything: skinny tea, crypto scams, weight loss devices. At some point in time, the dollar weighs more than the ethics. The information that gets clicks and attention is just steeped in novelty or mystique. It needs to be sexy or shocking. It needs, oh my God, wow, power. So I'm going to show you exactly, word for word, how this is done. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Maxwell Wiseman. Everybody, welcome to this extraordinary gathering of seekers of well-being. Today, I am honored to reveal to you the greatest secret of all time, a gift from the hidden village nestled in the heart of China. This village is known as Xanadu. It has guarded a rare and powerful herb for countless centuries. Its name, the legendary Elixerophilia. This extraordinary herb possesses the ability to unlock the true potential of your mind, your body, and your spirit. It is hailed as a panacea, a remedy for all ailments, and a fountain of eternal youth. Imagine waking up every day with a radiant glow, bursting with energy and vitality. The Elixerophilia can bestow upon you the gift of flawless, age-defying skin, increased mental clarity, and boundless zest for life. Not only that, but this remarkable herb has also been known to enhance physical performance, promote weight loss, and even boost your immune system to new heights. Now, my friends, you may be wondering, how can I attain this miraculous herb? Fear not, for I've secured a limited supply directly from the sacred village of Xanadu in my travels, exclusively for you. Today, and only today, I'm offering this unique opportunity to claim your own bottle of Elixerophilia. This small vial holds the power to unlock your true potential and transform your life. So my friends, seize this chance to embark on a journey toward ultimate well-being. Visit our site. Put your name in now for your own chance to get your own bottle of Elixerophilia, the secret elixir of the ancients. Don't let this life-changing opportunity pass you by. Okay, I'm not going to take this shirt off, but imagine I spent more than 3 minutes writing that script and, more time editing it. Imagine there's a whole team behind this, right? It sounds a little kooky when I do it with this voice, but imagine I do it like a real marketer. If I found a good audience, surely somebody would buy that. That's why this kind of content exists. We all want answers for our unique situation. We want to believe there's some magic pill or exercise or something. We are so terrified of making a mistake, of taking a slower path or causing ourselves harm. And who can blame us? We only have one body. You would not believe how many different things I tried to treat my colitis when I was a kid before I actually found the answer. And it wasn't a pill, it wasn't a powder, it wasn't a tincture or a doctor. This isn't an ad, by the way, but it actually sounds like one, right? Well, I don't know. I guess sort of it is if this interests you, but it was an elimination diet. The reason that I make it such a big focal point of my programs with all my clients is because it gives the individual information about their body. It's not some one-size-fits-all bullshit. But I'm also putting an emphasis on elimination diets because this is something you can Google search. You don't need somebody to walk you through this. It's only really something that I offer to people if they want the coaching. But it was useful for me. So why am I saying this? Because I want you to have something to walk away with this episode with. Something you can actually do, something actionable. And it's something you can just Google. But if you're somebody who does want coaching, if you're somebody who does want to be guided through this, then put a comment or click my website. I will help you comb through the fitness swamp. I will provide you tools, a program, and a diet unique to you. I will give you access to me for any questions that you've got. Like I said, you can just put a comment in the YouTube video, or you can go to Pride Fitness US, schedule a free consult, DM me on Instagram at AndrewPFM, and we can see where we go. So what do you think? Who are the creators you think have risen to the top rightfully? Who are the con artists? Toss it in the comments. Let's talk about them. And of course, like, subscribe, and be a little more resistant to just listening to every influencer out there. Try something out. See if it actually works for you. Don't keep scrambling for new information. Don't get shiny object syndrome. And until next time, guys, my name's Andrew with Pride. See y'all later. Hey, everybody. Did you like that episode? You know you did, and you know you want to see some more. So, oh my God, you should click that subscribe button. And then share it to someone else who wants to hear it. And then go find me on Instagram or TikTok or whatever at AndrewPFM and hit me with some questions of your own. So we'll see you guys there. Later.